What's happening, guys and girls? Acrinator here, and welcome to another episode of World of Warcraft Dungeon Overview. Today we'll be going through the first dungeon in the Auchindoun hub, Mana Tombs. I'll be escorting you through the heroic mode on my hunter you see here, so with that being said, let's dive straight into it. When the Draenei originally inhabited the planet of Draenor, they immediately tended to building a few structures of extreme cultural significance. The city of Shattrath of course came on early, to give their people a place to call home, but soon after came the massive mausoleum Auchindoun. They revere their ancestors' spirits, and try their hardest to allow them to pass into the light once they've left the realm of the living. In return, the honored dead watch over their living counterparts and guide them in times of need. Unfortunately, Draenor didn't stay peaceful forever. When Kil'jaeden the Deceiver wrapped his hands around the orcs and guided them to war against the Draenei, all that the exiles of Argus held sacred was besieged. Orc war parties slaughtered any village they could find, and made a point to attack anything with meaning to the Draenei. Naturally, it wasn't long before Auchindoun came under attack. Orc shamans attempted to summon the air elemental Murmur into the world from within the mausoleum, but their plan backfired. Murmur was summoned, though not without a grave cost. The summoning ritual caused a massive explosion that blew open the dome and desecrated the nearby forest with remains of the dead. Even decades after the incident, Terakar Forest is still scarred. What's more is that the crater left behind reveals just how extensive the tunnels underneath Auchindoun really were. 4 wings underneath the mausoleum still stand, and are held as strongholds for various groups with nefarious schemes. Inside the Mana Tombs, Nexus Prince Shafar of the Ethereals has brought his forces to find truth in his vision of immense riches within. They've established barriers to keep the Consortium from interfering, which means that we're the only ones who are capable to go inside and stop any further pillaging of the once sacred tombs. Mana Tombs is a level 62 to 71 dungeon with level 70 heroic mode, located in the south central portion of Terakar Forest. The easiest way to get in the general direction is to look for the massive scar on the southern edge of the forest and head towards the giant ruins sticking out of its center. You should see a large entrance that hasn't crumbled in on itself. Head there. Then you should go down the ramps, continually taking the paths on the right until you make it to ground level inside the Auchindoun crater. This next part can be a little bit tricky if you don't know where you're going, since there are 4 separate dungeons to be found within the hub. The one you're looking for, the Mana Tombs, will be directly on the left of the entrance you came down. It will be in the northern portion of the crater. You should see ethereals from the Consortium outside the entrance, and the room just outside the entrance should also be called Mana Tombs, just like the dungeon, but without the hyphen. Pandemonius is a Void Lord, not entirely sure if he's supposed to be one of those Void Lords, who was Dementius' second in command when destroying the Ethereal's homeworld of Koresh. As an act of revenge against those who doomed them, Nexus Prince Shafar bound Pandemonius to serve him, perpetually requiring to feed. Pandemonius has become something of a guard dog for the Nexus Prince. There are quite a few trash mobs to be found in Pandemonius' boss room, and they'll all aggro if left alive when the boss is pulled, so be sure to take care of them before starting the main fight. Also, for casters, Pandemonius has an ability called Dark Shield that reflects all spells for a short period of time. You should easily see him casting it, so it shouldn't be too hard to prevent any unnecessary damage from that. Tavarok is an earthbound colossus who was originally sent by Kael'thas Sunstrider's forces to collect as much magical energies from the Mana Tombs as possible. As a result of the massive amount of latent energy flowing through Auchindoun, Tavarok has since gained free will and has decided to destroy anything who would try to subjugate him again. Tavarok has a directional smash ability, so be sure to face him away from the rest of the group. He also uses a stun called Crystal Prison, which damages the target for 10% of their health and stuns them for a few seconds, so healers beware. Yor is a gift to the Nexus Prince from Illidan Stormrage himself. Apparently the two have communicated with each other, and Illidan meant to provide the prince with yet another means to protect himself while searching the ruins. Not entirely sure whether or not to trust the Lord of Outland, Shafar has kept the beast in stasis chamber for the time being. It should be noted that Yor is a heroic only optional boss, who can only be summoned by using a key from a quest you get after being revered with the Consortium. Yor's stasis chamber is in the final boss area, and it's a little pink sphere you see off to the right before Shafar. The only significant mechanic for this fight is that Yor has a few directional based abilities, so be sure to face them away from the rest of the group and you should be fine. For one reason or another, Shafar has become convinced that there's vast quantities of riches to be found within the ruins of Auchindoun. He has since spent much of his personal fortune and manpower to find and appropriate said treasures. What kind of fortune Shafar intends on finding is still unclear, but what we do know is that him and his men are disturbing what was once one of the most sacred places to the Draenei. In order to bring peace to the spirits still trapped within its walls, we must put an end to Auchindoun's ethereal invaders. Be sure to clear all the trash mobs in the final boss room before engaging Shafar, since they'll join in the fight anyways if they're still alive at that point. Also, Shafar is surrounded by 3 ethereal beacons that damage players and will eventually summon ethereal apprentice trash mobs. The best way to kill the beacons is to AoE heavily in the beginning and focus down the prince afterwards. Other than that, he's pretty much just another mage, so he shouldn't be that hard to take on. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, maybe even subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Links for my social media and whatnot are in the description below. And as for the comment question, what do you think Shafar was looking for? Like I said before, his forces moved into the Mana Tombs to look for unfathomable amounts of riches, and yet we don't really see much in terms of treasure. Could it be possible that they were searching for magic instead of material goods? I'm not entirely sure myself. Anyways, that's all the time I've got for today, so until next time, don't die.